Good morning, and welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I am Adam on this. It looks like, you ever see it where it's like, it looks like the sky's about to just open up and it's gonna just fucking pour. Like, that's how it feels today. Also, I didn't look at the weather before I left, which was a rookie mistake, and I've said this before. I have in my pocket a device that allows me to see the weather in advance before I leave the house. I am probably the most informed, our generation is the most informed anyone has ever been about the weather, ever. Because of just the sheer ability to just get information about what's going to happen later today, or what's likely to happen later today, or what's happening right outside my door right now. It's that, yet I still go outside with the level of knowledge as the same level of knowledge as a medieval peasant when it comes to, the weather. So it's freezing out. It's like 54 degrees. It's the week of Memorial Day and it's 54 degrees out. It's absurd. Gotta file a complaint about this with someone, but as always, if you want to support the show, you can go to ko-fi.com/MWP News and donate. We also have a new YouTube channel, MWP News Gaming, and that's where we're putting up our gaming videos. We already have our first video up, which is me playing the beginning of, what's it called? Pac-Man World 2. I have two other banked videos that are going to be going up in the near future. One is Disney Extreme Skate Adventure, playing through that a bit. The other is playing through a bit of, what's it called? I started last night. I think that's going to be the video that's probably the most fun. Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire, trying to complete the Pokédex in that. So all of that is coming up in the near future. So all of that's happening there. We're not going to do them on the main channel because I think that the issue that we came into was that we were too diverse in our offerings on there. We had game videos and podcast episodes, and there's no clear topic for the channel, so the game video is going to go over there now. We're here to talk about The Last of Us, though. The penultimate episode of Season 2 of The Last of Us, and I said it last week when I saw the coming attraction for what this week was going to be, and it's and here's Joel, it's a flashback, this is great. And I said it then, and I stand by my assessment. There are two things that I hate in media. Number one, plot lines where I know something to be true, the audience knows something to be definitively true, and all the characters in the show are acting like it's not true, which is leading to issues. We saw that on Andor in the finale. We saw that on, what was the other show? Iron Fist was famous for this. Iron Fist ended off, the first 3 episodes are Danny Rand coming back from his time in Kunlun and no one believing he's Danny Rand. But we know he's Danny Rand, so all it is him going around trying to explain who he is and people not believing him, and it's this is just a waste of my time. Can we just get past this and just get to the part where everyone knows who he is? And that's kind of where I am on this. And the other thing I really hate is a flashback episode giving information that we really don't need. And we've seen this happen twice in the last few years. I think this episode is actually a little bit of both. Because both episodes, we saw this happen last year with The Acolyte, the penultimate episode of The Acolyte. And again, this also happened in the second to last episode. The penultimate episode of The Acolyte is a retelling of the flashback on, I forgot what the name of the planet was, where they created Osha and May. Whatever it is, whatever planet that is that they did that on, this great atrocity happens. They fuck up and they accidentally kill everyone. Life has returned to the planet because there's a virgin. It's a really cool Force idea, but it's the backstory for how Osha ended up with the Jedi and why May was presumed killed and all of that. It's a really interesting kind of episode the first time. The second time that we're spending another hour on this, it's less interesting. And as the penultimate episode, it's infinitely less interesting. And I think that there's a lot that goes into this stupid, like that whole decision that I was like, why? Because it's like what they reveal is like, I don't think there's anything that bad that they reveal here. Like, I nothing that happens in this episode is something that we needed to have revealed. I think we just said, oh, you guys lied and moved on. And I think that's kind of the case here. We ended off last time with Ellie confirming to Nora that she knows what happened in the hospital. And all this episode is how Ellie finds out. And I don't need to see that. I don't need to see the backstory for why, why Eugene needed to die, or why Catherine O'Hara is mad at him for killing him. Like, all of this could have been done with dialogue in the episodes, and I feel like that would have been a better way to serve this story. Like, I'm not saying you get into clunky exposition. Like, there's that meme that went around a few years ago, 5-6 years ago at this point, where it was like, you can work in elements of the backstory with dialogue. Like, if instead of saying, I'll order a Coke, have your character say, as a former football player who is now coaching, I'll have a Coke. And it's like, see, now you've learned a little bit more about the character without knowing it. And it's like, I'm not saying we necessarily need that or anything close to that. What we need is them to realize that, like, look, we don't need to watch Eugene, get bitten and then get killed by Joel and have Joel lie about it and have Ellie use that to figure out that that's how she finds out that he lied about the other thing. It's like, oh, well, you acted the same way. And I know you lied here. I know you lied, so you probably lied there. So what really happened? Like, I don't need to see any of this, because the key information from this episode is Ellie knows Joel lied. Now, if Joel was still alive, and her figuring out his poker face was a key part of it, like, and that was something that could come into play again later, I could see this being more important. Because it's like, then at that point what you're doing is you're saying, like, oh, well, I understand, like, I've now sussed out how you lie. So because I figured that out, now we are going to, now you can't lie to me anymore. But that happens, we're seeing this flashback so far after Joel has been killed that it's like, what's the point of this? Like, I don't need to see these specifics. It's like, oh, you wanted to have a third episode with with Pedro Pascal, 3 out of 7 with him. Okay, I get it, but why not just do this as episode 2? Because if you do this as episode 2, I think it works a lot better. Because people who don't know that Joel is dying in the next episode, like, will be taken off guard by that, because it's like you're playing with expectations. You've set up now, this character now knows that, like, a big thing from last season is Joel lied to her, and now early on we have set up that Joel can no longer lie to her, and it's a good way to play with expectations. Then you get to the end and it's like, oh, okay, well, now we know she can't lie to her. He can't lie to her, and it's like, well, who cares? Well, now he's dead, so all of that's for nothing. It's fundamentally a weird choice to do this in the second to last episode, Because it's like, what are we learning in, like, the second to last episode should be, as we're getting toward the end of the season, where we're learning a fundamental truth about one of the characters. We're learning something imperative that's going to go into the climax. And it's like, I don't think that this episode does a good enough job of establishing why it should be here. Why do we need to see this? And unfortunately, the episode does not give me a good answer. Now, maybe in the game, this is at a different point. Maybe they've made an adjustment for the show, moved this up, moved it back. Who knows? I don't know. I've never played the game. As I've said week in and week out, the beginning and end of my knowledge of the game is Joel's little golf excursion with Abby. So I'm just kind of like, not baffled, but kind of at a loss for this episode being before the finale. I can't stand when they do this shit, because again, you're not giving me any new information that's important. This is all context, which is what the first episode was. The first episode is all context. Like, a good amount of the second episode is context. A good amount of the third episode is context for what the conflict is. Ellie is going to go and fight Abby and try to kill her. And that's what it's going to be. And I don't think that this episode made the case as to why it needs to be here. I think the thing is, too, is like bringing back Joel here. Like, here's the thing. If this was in season 3, I could see a little more merit, because then it's a stunt thing. Like, if this was like early season 3, I could see this. Like, this is like the premiere of season 3. I could see this working a lot better, because it's just context. It's not about what's it called. It just gives you more information about these characters. It puts you back in Ellie's headspace, but they knew they were getting another season after this, because they split this up into 2 seasons. They split the game into 2 seasons. So, like, what was... I fail to see the point of putting this here. And I think that too much of this is, spent doing very little for very little gain. It's unfortunate. And I think that this is kind of my overarching issue with this season. I think that, to an extent, this is... I don't know if this is... And again, I don't know the game that well. But is this what this game was, too? Because if so, I mean, I get some of the criticism now. Not the racist or the sexist or anything like that. Like, I will never be able to wrap my head around, because it requires such a warped worldview to be able to understand. But the narrative issues, I completely get them. If this is reflective of what the game was, it's like, I don't know. It's just basic structuring is kind of weird. Like, I don't know. And maybe in a game it would work a little bit better, because you have the inherent, first-personness of it. Where it's like, yeah, it's a third-person game, you're playing as Ellie and all of that. But at the same time, it's like you are still in Ellie's shoes, so your survival is your own. I don't know. I feel like this is a weird thing. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, if I ever do go back and rewatch The Last of Us, and I'm not saying that I definitely will or I definitely won't. I'm saying there's a chance I go back and rewatch The Last of Us. I probably just end off with season 1. I mean, unless this is just a weak bridge to get us to a really good ending in season 3, I probably won't go back and watch, season 2. It's just kind of that weak for me that I'm like, well, whatever, it is what it is. Like, like, the idea is not bad. Like, the idea of, like, oh, well, Joel gets killed and now Ellie goes out on this revenge tear. Like, it's a time-honored tradition in media that is a plot line that works. Like, I don't understand what happened here. Or if this was just what the game was too, and I'm unfamiliar with the game, so I'm unfamiliar with this. But that's as good a place to wrap up as any, I guess, because I don't have too much more to say about it. It's just, I hate this episode archetype. I hate what they did in this episode. I hate everything that's going on in this episode, and it's just like, I don't care about any of it. Like, doing it this late, it's like, the reveal is she knows he lied. She knows what happened in the hospital, which was revealed at the end of last episode. So congratulations on an hour of having me sit through you explaining how she found that out. I don't think that's a good use of time. I don't think that's a good use of any of this. I think that this, considering that it's odd number seasons, one season 7, one is either 6 or 8, like, you probably could have dumped this episode and evened it. But also the other alternative is this should have been in season 3 more than here. Like, because this is a great way to get you back on track, not in the middle of this season. Like, 'cause that's the thing, is that, like, if you came back from season 2 and it came back from the hiatus, which means, like, 2027 we're gonna have season 3 of The Last of Us. Like, we come back from that hiatus and we come back with this episode with Joel and Ellie. It's like, oh, okay, we're gonna get back into the groove of things. This is new information. It's going to set us up where we're going in the future. We know what's going on. That would have worked a little bit better, I think. But right here, one episode before the finale, this is not a good use of time. But we'll wrap up there for today. Friday, we will be seeing Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. And we may do Lilo and Stitch this weekend. I don't know. I'm kind of Disney live-action remaked out. So who knows? I haven't watched as much stuff because I'm trying to get as many banked episodes of video game play as possible. And I can't do that and talk at the same time as watch something. So there are things we will catch up on. Do not worry. And we are going to get through that. Because last night I started early enough that I was able to watch The Last of Us. So that's how we got to this today. But don't worry, we will get back to that. But until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.